Cool. Hi everyone. Been wanting to do this for a long time, just probably haven't got round to it. So what I want to show you a little bit about today is how a song can change over 20 years, 2 decades. So as you know, the KST soundtrack redid one of their album tracks, The Wrong Day or The Wrong Fucking Day, whichever way you want to name it. But before even it got to the album version, we had, I don't know, like another 2, possibly 3 versions of it. I'm going to go through them now. And I just kind of wanted to show how a song can evolve over time, or the more money you spend on it, or the more time you spend on writing the damn thing. So this one's a good one to pick out because it's got lots of different incarnations that I have all the files for, I think. So I'm gonna play you a snippet of probably the first ever version of the song. It was recorded at a guess 1999, possibly 2000, probably 99, I think. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm sure somebody will let us know if I've got things wrong. But yeah, I'm going to play you a little snippet now, and it sounds a little bit like this.
And a 1, 2, 3, y'all, go!
Okay, so that's the first incarnation of that song that was recorded at 24/7. I mean, it pretty much was recorded how we wrote it in the room. Strange sort of noise at the start was our DJ at the time, Buzz, who added that really sort of strange bass sound, wah 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 wah, and he did that on the decks. That's my version for decks, by the way. Yeah, really interesting. You'll notice that generally the recording sounds quite thin and small, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, but Nick sounds about probably 16 on there, perhaps even younger, but I think he was about 18. I think we were still a couple of years older, not much though. So yeah, obviously developing his style over the years, he's become a lot heavier, set in his tone and stuff like that. But that's how we were on the demo, and that kind of went forward to helping, obtain a record deal and recording the record. So I think we did another version, probably got to be around 2000 actually. I'm going to say that the demo was around 99, and then we did another version in another studio for the original EP, which hopefully I'll be putting up rather on the Bandcamp soon. We've got some original music coming out for the rest of the year, but we still got some legacy stuff and some other bits and bobs that will be coming out. So yeah, let's take a look at the EP version and see how that sounds in comparison. I actually can't remember, so...
In a 1, 2, 3, y'all, go! wrong day, so don't test. Yeah, you picked the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day.
Okay, so yeah, it's coming back to me a little bit now. So this version was for the Wrong Day EP, obviously. I think it had about 3 or 4 tracks on it. This was recorded in Loco Studios in Usk. Really beautiful studio, not there anymore like all the other studios we've visited in the past, strangely enough. No longer there. And I think it was done by Greg Haver, who's quite a famous producer these days now. He's done Manic Street Preachers and many other artists and jet sets around the world. But this was his take on recording our song. Yeah, I mean, obviously the version's a little bit. It's got more to it. It's got more layers to it, but ultimately it's still quite thin sounding overall, and a little bit muddy, I guess, thin and muddy, which isn't really great, but it captured us at the time, and I guess the way things were being recorded a little bit. I remember being there for like a day, so it wasn't very long. This was very much sort of a live take, and then a few overdubs, and I think Dave. Dave always sounds great, but Dave sounds great on this one. But also, I had the confidence to back him up on this one a little bit, so I think I'm doing a little harmony, which obviously he told me what to sing, and I tried to sing it, but it was okay. Yeah, I mean, again, I think Nick sounds a little bit more confident in this version. He's got a little bit more, angst and gruff about him. Obviously, getting used to being a frontman in a band at this point, because I don't think Nick had ever really done anything like this before these tracks. I mean, he went on to work with lots of different artists and bands and stuff like that later on, and guesting, I think, with some friends' bands around the time, but this was still very much Nick's first sort of band, and all of us really, we were all just finding our feet and stuff like that at that time. So yeah, I mean, not a bad version, I guess. I think the label did pay for that EP, so it was kind of like testing the waters. But yeah, so I think this next version is the album version, which was done by Steve Thompson. I think it was done. Yeah, I think this was one of the ones that was done from start to finish when we did the album in Longview Farm Studios in North Brookfield, Massachusetts. Yeah, near Boston. Or at least that's where we flew into. But yeah, I think Steve actually nicked the chorus vocals that Dave and I sang and flew them into this version because he really liked it, and we wasn't, well, perhaps I wasn't nailing it so well on the session in Boston. But let's take a look. Just to bring back that EP version, we'd lost the DJ at that point. DJ wasn't on the previous version, so that was me, the bass, trying to emulate that sound at the start of the one, and I think I do the same in this album version. Let's take a listen.
In a 1, 2, 3, go. Trip away. They just gonna vex me. I feel like I've been hexing. Like my head's in the clouds. Please somebody set me free. Bag of amazing grace. He's the pace. Let my mind loose to another place. Higher state of consciousness takes me away from all this mess. Pick the wrong day, so don't test. Yo, you pick the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day. What you got to say? Boy, what you got to say? Pick the wrong fucking day, right?
Yeah, so, I think from the previous three versions, this version was definitely far more superior. The drums sound fuller and they punch through. The guitars are probably still a little bit, tinny, but I guess they do cut through everything as well. The bass sounds great, and yeah, again, Nick's performance and vocals, you can see he's gone up another step, so obviously playing this song and demoing this song for the last 2 years definitely kind of helped the band achieve that sort of energy to capture on the recording. Myself, I was still slightly sort of disappointed in some of the mix that we got back. I mean, I'm not going to say or blame any person in particular. It's just the way that it was captured at the time, and I always felt that if you come to see us live, you got a little bit more from it than that. And yeah, that's pretty much the last version that we did. So it took kind of like 2 years period to do that, and then sort of about 16 years later, I think it was 16 years later, we decided to sort of get back together, and that process of sort of reuniting and rehearsing and just finding our feet again as a band, it became quite apparent that we wasn't just going to play things verbatim like we did in 2002. We thought that we would do things a little bit different and maybe try to be, obviously we've had 16 years, a lot of us had 16 years experience doing different things, playing with different bands and musicians, and the way you grow when you write with different people, you just start feeling things a little bit differently. So yeah, we went into the studio with Ramesh for 2 days. Ramesh Dodangoda, who's an amazing producer. He's done a lot of the South Wales bands coming through, Kids in Glasshouses being, one of the big ones, the Blackout, Funeral for a Friend also being, one of the major ones in South Wales. But he's done loads, and, he's worked with big, huge bands like Bring Me the Horizon, and I mean, I'm not going to list them all. You can just go and check him out. He's amazing. He does great stuff. And we were very grateful that he found the time to do this 2-day session with us and for us. We'd gone into the rehearsal room and changed up the song quite considerably, I would have thought, and it's definitely a better representation of sort of where we were at that time and going forward, with the type of sound and where the band wanted to go. So let's just take a look. The intro is quite different, a bit longer, so we'll see how that fares now. So yeah, I mean, lots to unpack there. Really, whole different intro. Got rid of the sort of the bright jangly guitar and all that sort of the Smiths kind of Johnny Marr sound there, and we just gone straight in with this big sort of chord opener. Yeah, I changed the sort of the main riff even though we introduced the old sort of riff after the choruses, and it's still there, but that first riff is a lot more kind of like Head P and Biscuit rather, Biscuit, the Biscuits on mine. Yeah, that limp style sort of bounce to it, that groove. It's much more sort of fun to play. I think everybody enjoys this version the most when we play it live. Yeah, and it's just, the production. I mean, you can't fault the production. It's full, it's huge. Nick's performance, again, you can tell he's got that maturity in the tone and his delivery. And even Dave, singing with a little bit more, not so much like, screaming, but he's definitely got a little bit more edge and gruff to him in these vocals on this version, I think. And it just generally captures the energy. I think one of the main reasons for that is possibly because we had a new drummer. Troy couldn't join us for the reunion, and so we used Haitham Al-Harden, who also plays in another band with me, and I just think that he delivered like a much more heavier performance and added so much more to sort of the structure of the song. And if you really got a keen ear, you can hear the scratchings back in, which is DJ Alchemy from one half of Applied Science, which is Nick's other outfit, which they're tremendous and fantastic hip hop act. And he joined us on the session to add some of those flavors back from the demo, but obviously way better. Yeah, and it has a completely different middle section and slightly different outros to the original. I've done this version, which is a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster. I'm going to play you up until where I've been playing, just so you can hear a bit, but I'm probably going to put the full version up. I don't know, it'll be on SoundCloud or link on this YouTube video below, I think, when I've decided where it should live. I'm not sure if I'll put it on the Bandcamp, but yeah, just to let you know, I've done something else with another track that we're probably going to play live, and that I'll probably do a similar sort of thing with this, just to try and break down the different sort of elements of the 2-3 different versions or whatever it was. Yeah, so let's have a little listen to this sort of Frankenstein's monster version of The Wrong Day, which is just every single version throughout time. And let's go.
In a 1, 2, 3 show, go! Well, I had a pretty shitty day, now I'm heading for the city. Hey, with a fat beat, so let my mind trip away. The day is gonna vex me, I feel like I've been hexing. Like my head's in the cloud, please somebody set me free. Take my bag of amazing grace, ease the pace, let my mind loose to another place. I can see the consciousness takes me away from all this mess. Pick the wrong day, shut up. Pick the wrong day. Yo, you pick the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day. Pick the wrong fucking day. You pick the wrong day. You better get on, get on. Hey, yo, what you got to say? Boy, what you got to say? Pick the wrong fucking day, right? Yo, what you got to say?
And that's it, guys. Like I said, I'll post the whole clip at some point somewhere, and the link will be on this video. I'm not quite sure where yet, but if you're interested in this sort of stuff, just drop some questions or anything you want to know about, I don't know, the period, what we did, what we used, and I'll try my best to remember or ask the other guys if they know. And yeah, until next time, cool.